Hey everyone. In this video, I want to talk about something that a lot of young men are probably feeling today, which is they want to have children, but they are hesitant or even fearful of getting married. And I feel the same way. I mean, I really want to have children, like incredibly badly. I know for sure that I want to have a family, but I'm incredibly hesitant to get married to the wrong woman, which makes me hesitant to get married in general because even if she isn't the wrong woman, you never truly know if a woman will leave you in marriage because you can't predict the future. And all it takes is growing apart in subtle ways. And if she finds a guy that she believes is better, she could immediately, well, not immediately, but she could leave you over time for him. And then there are all the stories of women cheating on their guys and monkey branching and just, yeah. And of course, divorce courts often rule in favor of women, even in the cases where the father would probably be a better parent if he had full custody of the children. They will often just rule in favor of the mother because there's this stereotype that mothers raise children better than fathers. And I have learned quite enough about human psychology in general to say that that isn't quite a statement or a claim you can make with 100% accuracy, because there are shitty mothers out there just like there are shitty fathers. And you can't put all of them in one basket and say that all fathers are bad or all mothers are good. That's not how things work. Life is way more nuanced than that. But divorce courts basically take the side that all mothers are good. And I've met enough great men in my life, and some of them were even single fathers because of divorce. And in fact, with somebody who's very close to me, who's almost like a second father to me in some cases. This man, he's one of the best men that I know, and he ended up having full custody of his children after divorce with his first wife, and he raised his children incredibly well. They are great people. And if his ex-wife had gotten full custody, she probably would have ruined his children because she's one of those women who basically said that she loves animals more than people, which isn't really a good sign when it comes to being a mother because holy crap, children are people. Like you should love people to some extent if you're thinking of having children. If you are one of those people who say that you love animals way more than people, then I would say you shouldn't have kids because that is just, it's not a good thing. But basically, that was just a long spiel of how men can be good single fathers, but the courts don't rule in that way. So just knowing how you're never fully guaranteed that your marriage will last the test of time, and if it doesn't, for guys, you pretty much know you're getting the short end of the stick when it comes to divorce. I mean, you have to get really lucky and live in probably a more conservative state to have any chance of not getting just completely screwed in the justice system, which is pretty ironic they call it the justice system. But yeah, I mean, so those things have made it so not just me, but a lot of young men are hesitant to get married, even if they want kids. So I'm in that position where I'm thinking, how the hell could I make this work? Like, I really want children, but I'm just so hesitant. Fearful isn't really the right word because it's not fear-based. It's just I don't want to have to deal with any issues that could arise from if I, God forbid, make the wrong choice, or if my future wife, for whatever reason, changes over time and suddenly decides that she doesn't want to be with me or she prefers another guy, or you never know. So I don't really think that I would have too much trouble finding or not, finding's the wrong word. I do think finding great women is very difficult in today's world. What I more mean is I don't think I'll have trouble keeping a great woman once I find her, but with the way people are raised nowadays and the entitlement and the subtle narcissism that's so widespread, and people taking selfies all the time, being self-absorbed and just wanting attention and validation from as many sources as they can get, which for women that often means if they're in a relationship with a guy, they'll still post pictures on Instagram or on Facebook of their body, which if you're doing that, you're doing it for male attention because there's no other reason to do that. So it's tricky. I feel like marriage just isn't what it used to be. It's, I mean, when you get down to it, it's a government contract, which is kind of bizarre because a lot of people like to say that marriage should be based in love, which that's more of a recent history thing because in the past, marriage was all about financial gain and status and nothing else really. There was no love in it. And that was very different. Now that we try to make it about love, people just are getting ruined by it because you'll have nice guys who just get cheated on, or you'll have nice women who get cheated on by their husband. And just basically, when you get down to it, it almost seems like good people are the ones who get screwed the most in marriage. And that's both for men and women. Of course, I'm talking from a male point of view because I am a guy, so that makes sense. If you're looking for a female point of view, I mean, I'm not the person for that. But I mean, women do get screwed in marriage as well. I just wouldn't say it's nearly as often as men do because, I mean, if you don't know what the term monkey branching is, please look that up because that will explain a lot of it. Well, I'll give you a short gist. Monkey branching is basically where women, even unconsciously, will tend to look for the best partner for them, the highest quality partner, because it's a biological thing where they're trying to raise children with the best guy who could do that for them, whether that be having children with him or just literally bearing his children with another man. And that's where you'll have women cheat on their husband with like I hate these terms, but it helps convey the point, like an alpha type guy, and then the guy she's married to, her husband, won't be aware that she got pregnant from the alpha dude and not him, so he'll end up raising some other guy's kids unknowingly, and that doesn't happen. Well, I don't know how common that is. I would have to look in the statistics, but I wager it's not super common, but it does happen. And I don't believe that would happen to me, but it's still just something that's kind of interesting that you have to even factor that into the equation. But yeah, so monkey branching, getting back into that, it's basically just where women will be always looking for the best possible partner for themselves, even when they already are with someone. So it's a really unfortunate thing. And the strange part here is that a lot of women aren't even aware that they do this, that this is part of their biology, because it is a biological thing. I'm not saying it's bad because it's literally in human nature. That would be like saying that the fact that we breathe oxygen is bad. Like, we don't control that. It's just part of us. And I get that. Like, I'm not saying that women are bad for doing this. Now, the ones who do it consciously, sure, like, you could argue that they're bad. But a lot of them don't think about it in that way. It just happens. It's like with animals, they do the same freaking thing. I mean, if you look at chimpanzee hierarchies and societies, they do the same thing. It's just part of their nature. Even with tigers and lions, like the lionesses will go for the most alpha lion they can find, and they will want to raise his children because they'll know that his children will have the best odds of survival. Not only because they'll have his genetics, but also because she'll have him to protect them. So even women, I think, in a way similar to that. It's not conscious for the most part. I mean, I wouldn't say it often really is. And that kind of makes it unfortunate because it means a lot of women don't know how to stop this behavior because they're not aware of it. But anyway, that was just a really long-winded way of me saying that that behavior also makes me hesitant to get married. And same for a lot of men. Because when you understand that, it can't help but scare you to some extent. Because you're thinking you could be like a great guy, but if she meets someone who's just like 1% better than you, she may think that he's enough that she would want to have his children and not yours. And it won't even be a conscious thing per se. But I'm making huge generalizations here, so please, for all the great women out there who follow me, do not think that I'm saying you're bad or that I'm even saying that you would engage in this behavior. I'm just saying that this is human psychology I'm talking about. So, of course, I'm going to be making sweeping generalizations here, as people tend to do when they talk about psychology. So, don't take it personally. Don't get offended. I'm not targeting you, not attacking you. In fact, I think it's good for a lot of you to learn about this sort of thing so that you can be aware of it and work around it and make sure that you have great relationships yourself. Because it just seems like loyalty is like at an all-time low for both sexes. Men aren't being super loyal to women, women aren't being super loyal to men, and I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons why marriages just aren't working nowadays and why people are so afraid of marriage and hesitant of it. So it really sucks because, yeah, I mean, I really want to have children, and I'm almost wondering if I could potentially meet a woman who'd be okay with having children without getting married, or maybe I will meet a woman who I know would be loyal enough to that I wouldn't have to ever worry about her going after another guy behind my back or that sort of thing. But it's tricky. Yeah. It's very tricky. This is the world we live in. But anyway, this was a very stream of consciousness video. So I hope something within it was insightful or you got something out of it. I don't know. I mean, if anything, it just gives you a male perspective into marriage nowadays and how, yeah, there are probably a lot of guys out there who want to have kids but just are kind of iffy about the whole getting married thing. Although we know that, I mean, marriage is how you have a family pretty much. So we know it's pretty much the conventional route if you want to have children. It's just very tricky nowadays. So, loyal women, hit me up. I'm just kidding. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if so, please like, comment, share, do all those things that help the algorithm. It's the easiest way you can support me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Arrivederci.